Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. All right, it took me a while to get set up here. I'm trying to get back into doing a show every week, at least twice or so. All right, we're going to be talking about some serious things today. I'm not going to be doing it too long, but let me just say hi to everybody in the chat room. Getting old isn't a good thing. All right. So what I want to start with is we have a couple serious things going on in the United States right now. All right, let's talk about the virus first. Well, it was starting to be a little bit under control. Hawaii has been cutting it down to almost nothing. A lot of the states have been cutting it down as well. But since they started to reopen things up, all right, more things are happening. More people getting it, more people in large numbers are getting it. All right, we can go into that, but I want to tie that into what else is happening. All right, as we all know, we have George Floyd, who was killed by a policeman kneeling on his throat. All right, the video's out there. You could see it from a couple different angles. All right, you could see the guy was screaming he couldn't breathe. All right, and then people around him screaming, "Stop, stop, stop, you're killing him, you're killing him." Finally, after about 8 minutes, the ambulance comes and they take him away because he is dead now. So they load him in and put him on there and take him away. All right, now people watched that, already reported it, and started getting angry. I mean, I'm not going to blame them. You see somebody get killed like that for no reason. Was he a mass murderer? Did he have guns on him? Was he killing people? No. The story is he passed a blank check or something, and whether it was he knew about it or not, it's a different story as well. So let's take it from there. Riots starting to happen all over the United States. We even have them here in Hawaii, but they're nice, peaceful ones. All right. Just so you know, people, when you try to march on anything and start a rally outside publicly, you have to file for a permit. That's the law. Wherever it is, whenever you do it, you have to file for a permit. All right. That being said, all right, when you do that, okay, you have the right to do this march or rally, whatever. But there's a lot of rules you have to go by when you get there. I mean, they'll say you can't carry any kind of weapons, you can't carry any sticks and clubs and bats and any other kind of weapons that could be used as a weapon. I mean, a long time ago, I marched with a bunch of people on the UN in New York City with 2,000 people. And when we got to the place where we started, there was police there, and they said you can't carry anything except cardboard and paper. So, I mean, posters, you had to hold them by your hands and everything else. We weren't allowed to put them on sticks or nothing like that. So we marched from downtown to the UN. And during that march, we didn't have no problems. There was cops like every other corner and things like that. But when we got to the UN, once we rallied in front of the UN building, we were surrounded by FEMA people with machine guns and hard hats, everything. The whole square block was completely surrounded. All right, I thought we were going to be in serious trouble because we had people from other parts of the world testifying for the Native people, and it was all about Leonard Peltier. But during that time, they started talking bad about the United States, and I thought, sure, there was going to be a riot, but nothing happened, and it ended peacefully. All right, there's certain ways to go about doing things. You want your voice heard. If you want your voice heard as a human, normal being, you don't beat people up, you don't burn up stores and blow up cars. Now, when you start a riot, in between a march like that, the energy gets so out of hand, people get sucked into it. People that might not want to do that or just get involved. You see a store window smash open and all this stuff laying in the window. You grab whatever you can and you start running. Well, I just talked to somebody I know in California. They looted the mall, the jewelry stores, the food stores, Walmart, all those kind of stores are closed, and they're going to probably be closed down permanently now. So think about it. All these jobs that are going to be taken away from people as well. I'm not saying when you blow up a cop's car, it's hurting us as normal people on the street, but take away the police force cars, and we're going to have FEMA and guards, secret guards, and everybody else there. So think about this: when you go on protesting something, is it real? Is it right? Is it justified? And then again, how far can you go before you go over the limit? I'm going to compare this to something else now. And this is for every human person that they call themselves human in the United States. You're all families of people that mass murdered the native people. Mass murdered the native people. The gun law, which everybody's fighting for, including Mr. Trump, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Here's my arms. That's it. Guns, machine guns, whatever you want to call them, automatic weapons. In the day when that bill was created, they allowed guns because they were shooting the native people with them. And they had to protect their home, had to protect their wagon, had to protect whatever. But that's what they had guns for. It wasn't to protect whatever we want to go out and shoot targets and things like that. They weren't practicing that unless they were going after native people, which they were. And they were getting paid to kill them. Now, let's go back to this march and rallies and riots. There's somebody out there, I don't know the right spelling. There was videos put up online. A guy says he's paying people large money. The more people he gets to go into a march, the more money they get. The more riot they cause, the more money they get. There's a person, a multimillionaire, paying these people to do it. You should go online and find out who it is. It's like a 6-letter word. I'm not going to say it, but you can find it online. Supporting, paying for people to go out and protest. Now, what is he? A left wing, right wing, an alien, idiot? What is he to do something like that? Well, that's a problem. But now when we got all these people rioting and half of the people don't even have masks on, bringing the virus into it. Everybody's spitting, throwing, and everything else, using coughing, and they're all piled in on each other. The video shows a cop grabbing a guy's mask, pulling it off his face, and then macing him. All right? That's how bad it's getting. Sure, people are getting hurt. Now, when a few people get killed, which can happen very soon, I don't see how it could not, what's going to happen? Is the riot going to get worse? Is it going to get better? It depends who gets killed. If 2 more black people get shot, guess what? I mean, what if 2 white people get shot? What if 2 cops get killed? And they've been blowing up the cop cars everywhere. So how bad is this going to get? Well, let me tell you this. Let's go to the beginning again. Now, they arrested the cop, and they got him in, and they're going to charge him for a murder. All right. Now, during the autopsy, all right, this is about 2 days ago, autopsy says he wasn't killed by suffocation. He was killed by probably his health and drugs in his system. That killed him? Oh, really? So guess what? That's going to cause a bigger riot. Now, the family did their own autopsy, proving that it was, they cut off the blood circulating to the brain. All right, now you got a double firing gun. Both things are getting people more rowdy and angry. They're lying about how he died, obviously. So where are we going to go? We're going to go to a civil war if this isn't watched or maintained or fixed in some way. I mean, I don't see how it can be fixed easily. That guy goes to jail. He'll be killed in jail. He's a cop, and he's a black person killer. What do you think is going to happen to him in jail? They're going to keep him in this nice private room and feed him and all that for a while. How long is he going to get? Well, all those things are going to determine how bad the riot becomes. Now, in a court of law, and I went to a court, sat through a whole bunch of driving tickets and all kinds of things like that, but in a court of law, when a judge listens to the defense and the offense, the attorney for both, and they say, well, the policeman has dignity, and he goes into a lot of qualifications of a cop. And then we go, we don't know the personality, the character of the person that's going against the complaint. So usually, and it's almost all the time, is the cops gets the win. Now, on the other hand, if the cop's not there, the person that's there will probably win. If the cop doesn't make it to court, the person will win. But if the cop's there, meaning, oh, here I am, I'm a cop, so it's justified. Now, I know you see in all these cases, he's let go. It's not murder. It's not this right away. Now, there's a new attorney starting a bill, and hoping when it go through, it's going to stop protecting the police from all those kind of things. We are all people. Nobody is better than anybody else. The president, the Pope, the Dalai Lama, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, all these famous people, all these spiritual people, me, you. Who's more famous? Who's more important? People with money. Why? Because the ego says they're more important? We're all people. We all have different levels of money and life and situations, but we are the same. Black, white, red, yellow. I mean, it's not a color issue, people. The native people, what about them? Nobody cares. They're the most prejudiced people. And they're still being killed, and nobody's doing a thing about it or cares. So when black people say it's a black issue, yeah, it's a black issue. There are white issues. Sure there are. See how many people are killed. Now, let's go into who's committing the crime. What kind of crime is it? What kind of weapons and what should they use against people? Now, if it's a mass shooter, should they go in there with a taser? Probably not. But if it's a guy robbing a candy store, should they go in there with a machine gun or a cannon or whatever? I doubt it. There's times when you can call to use a dangerous weapon, which a lot of policemen carry, and they carry 2 of them. Most cops around have a taser even as well. So to pull a gun on somebody, now Biden just said, shoot him in the leg. Don't shoot him in the heart. These are supposed to be top-notch gun shooters, and they're supposed to be able to hit the target where they're supposed to hit the target. Don't hit him in the chest or in the brain. Hit him in the leg. All right? But no, let's kill a person, or 10 shots, 20 shots. Really? Well, here, I was mad. I had to shoot him. He was getting away. After he was shot 2 times, 3 more times, 4 more times, we have such a horrible system in place. The way the court systems affect people. Now, let's go to non-weapons. Rape, abuse, and all those kind of things. No weapons are involved. Really? And they go to court sometimes 12 years, sometimes 6. The standard now is 6. And now, depending on the judge, how perverted he is, well, he's a young kid. He has his whole life ahead of him. Let's give him 6 months in parole. Or let's not even put him in jail. A rapist. And I was in Jersey for a long time. I was working in the captain's house at fixing phones. And we were going up the stairs. He says, you see that guy on the step? He's waiting to see his daughter. He raped his daughter. He's waiting to see his daughter after you raped him. What kind of moron system would make it that this perverted, twisted idiot is going to allow to see his daughter? Now, in another case, this man has 50 women he raped. He's allowed to see all those children. Don't you think something's wrong with that? The system's wrong. It's not just against black people. It just so happens when a person's committing crime, what are they doing? Where are they? Wearing a hood? Wearing a hood, you seem like you're a criminal. I mean, white people wear hoods as well. Like the commercial, put a stocking over your head and the guy wears a fishnet. And you can see his face. But you know, people that want to do things, now with this mask on, you could go rob a store and you have a mask on. Well, he had a mask on. And it's not going to be anything complainable. You can't say, well, he shouldn't be wearing a mask. Well, he has to be wearing a mask. So now, when you watch these riots, half of the people don't have a mask on. Where's that going to get us? I mean, the news says, go out, everybody that was in that riot, protest, go get tested. You know, you get tested today, you're fine. You weren't down with the virus yet. Then again, the next day you go out and you get it. What's the big deal? Like, you get tested and you're immune to it? No, you're not. If you get it, you're immune to it. No, you're not. Now, there's cures for it. There's a lot of things you can take that'll help stop it or eliminate it. Let's see how long it takes them to release a real so-called protection from it. But let's see if that ever happens. I mean, there's a lot of things that control this. The president, people, prejudice of people, ego of people, and each one of them affect the way a person's going to react during the situation. You can't have people running around the street with guns. Oh, it's their free will. No, not to shoot people, not to go into school and shoot people. Again, when was the Constitution created? I got the dates. I'm not going to look them up right now. Look them up. It was the same time they took the Constitution away from the native people. What do you think the eagle is standing for? The American eagle? It's the symbol for the native nation. What's the arrows in the eagle's talons? There's 5 arrows in his hand. Why? It was 5 nations joining together to fight. That's what the Constitution was based on. Now, it was taken away. Any right in the Constitution was taken away from the native people because they weren't considered citizens. And they weren't until the 1920s. They weren't allowed to use public utilities. When they put electric lines across the reservation, they weren't allowed to use them. You don't think that's prejudice to the max? People don't look at that. Well, when the black people were slaves, so were the native people. And if you know about history or you don't, native people hung out with the black people because they could try to become a slave and survive. And a lot of times when they started going after, when the KKK and different things started forming, the black people went to the native people to hide out and survive. So that's how black people are half native and native people are half black. It was because of those reasons. But do the native people get involved? They can't, because they get killed automatically. I don't know if you know about Wounded Knee 1 or Wounded Knee 2. Read history. Find out what's really going on. Native people are the most persecuted in the United States. Oh, they got casinos. Some of the people are. But if you want to know the truth, even about native people, which they can't do a thing about, in the native nation, the government has to have 2 councils in charge of the nation, whatever tribe it is. If they can't bribe the head medicine man, the chief, they put their own in there. Out of them, 77 or 9, somewhere in between there, are native people that actually run it. The rest are controlled by the government, meaning, guess what? The opposite color. All right. Now, so they control the native nations. If they get out of hand, what happens? They cut their food off. Bush went out to the reservation and said, we're going to build homes for you. They sent 3 people out there. Oh, we can't build on this property, and they left. That was it. Now, if you know anything about South Dakota, the Army base is on top of that. They flooded that river that runs through the nation with poisons. 2 years ago, it killed 350 native children. Do you hear about that? Do you hear about things like that? No. It's only black problems we hear about. All right. When I was young, I was part native, part white, but I was young and I was living in Jersey. I happened to be a witch at 16. They put signs on all the poles. If you see a witch, put the address here. We'll burn the house down. We'll burn the car down, and things like that. Luckily, one of my friends was a wrestler, big woman, lawyer as well, went to court, turned it around, and made witchcraft in New Jersey a legal religion. But, I mean, people have to fight for what they want. Now, are the black people fighting for what they want? They have more rights than the native people ever had. Sure, native people get rights when they leave the reservation and forced to become a normal citizen per se. They can't live like a native person. Look at our government system in the United States. How many native people are in it for real? There was one. And they were harassing him about his bolo tie, his hair, everything. They were persecuting him about everything he did and was. And now we have Muslims coming in and different other people coming in. They're not persecuted, but it is the black people. And we have Reverend Sharpman, who makes everything a black issue. If somebody's robbed my house and I shot him and it was a black person, it's a black issue. Was a white person robbing my house? If he was, he would have got shot. You know, it's who's involved with the crime, wherever the crimes. Now, prejudice is a word. It's a freedom of speech word, isn't it? No, it isn't. Why isn't it? Because people don't want you to say that. You can't be prejudiced. Why? The Native people are still prejudiced against the white people, and they have every right to be that. The white people are still prejudiced against the Native people because they're still trying to kill them and wipe the races out, which is happening right now. So the black race came here, had the right to go back to their own country. Native people didn't have nowhere to go except to their desolate reservation they were stuck on. Look at the balance here. Is something out of balance? The Spanish are, number one, everything you hear is in Spanish and written in Spanish. Why not Native? Why not any other language? We have a twisted system. The government system's so twisted. Constitution sounds good. The right to bear arms. Okay, what's that really mean? Protect yourself? Where? In a school? In a hospital? In a post office? I mean, think about where we're going, people. Now, why we're going that way is because spiritualism is gone. Nobody knows what it means. Oh, well, I'm a spiritual. Or the other word, morals. Does anybody have a clue what morals are? Can you name 10 to yourself? Go ahead and try. Don't steal, don't curse, don't lie. What are morals to you? There's a lot of them. Everything you do revolves around a moral. And if you don't know what the morals are, how can you revolve around that? So let's dive deeper into this. Religions. They have their... All religions have the law, have their belief system. Are they allowed to follow it? Not in the United States, they're not. In Israel and other countries, they're allowed to practice Muslim, be a Muslim and everything else, be Jewish. I mean, in the United States, the Hasidic Jewish people have their laws, and to me, they're pretty strange and bizarre and wrong, but to them, it's not. And they were allowed to do certain things in the United States, what I thought was wrong. Now, what about these tribal people that have multiple families? I mean, like Tibet and countries like that, they're allowed 3 wives or 2 husbands and things like that. Do they have the right to come in the United States and be like that? So when we talk about we want free will, we want world peace, how can you have world peace when everybody believes different things? Do you believe in aliens? Are they going to help you? Some people do believe that. Are we spending all our money to go into space? Yes. Why? Because they want to have a place for rich people to go if disasters start happening, if they can't put them underground in the underground cities, which they're spending all this money on. And now, is the underground cities black or white? No, I'm guarantee Oprah has a beautiful castle underneath the ground where they are. So when a disaster hits this planet, which it will, they're going to run underground. Underground's not going to be safe, any more safer than above the ground. But they're too ignorant to understand things like that. They don't believe in God. Well, I built a high, solid concrete ceiling, which is 10 feet wide. I got steel bars in between. Look at the Trade Center. You know, don't look at the Trade Center because you don't know the truth about it. You don't know anything about it. And you believe the bull that comes out of people that say what's supposed to have happened. I was there. I was in New York City, but I mean, I was up on the top, and that bog was still there, which was still making people sick. And it ended up killing lots of people. Did they tell you what really happened to the Trade Center? No, why not? Because it's all twisted truth. Did they tell you what they're doing with aliens? No, it's all twisted truth. Why are they prejudiced against black people? There has to be something behind that, obviously. Think about it. There's reasons the government does everything they do. They don't tell us anything true to the facts. There's a war going on. We use drones to blow apart a city recently. Now, do you believe in the 10 Commandments? Do you believe in anything important? Probably not. You think you have free will to do anything you want. Destroy, kill, maim, beat up, whatever. But it's not true because morals disappeared, which means our consideration to life, and then reality. Now, we talk about killing. In California, just to show you how sick it's getting, they broke into the zoo and let the animals out. The poor animals, if they get on the street, they're going to probably end up getting shot. Oh, it'll keep fear, keep people in the house. No, poor animals are going to get killed. Somewhere along the line, people with guns will probably shoot them. And if you don't believe that, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go around circles for you, just so you know how life is. I'm a magician half of my life. I also was I was into black magic for a very short time, like a couple months. And I realized I didn't want to go that direction. So I became a white witch for a word. All right. They use Wicca, which is a fairy word. But let's go into being a witch. All right. You can use powers, which most people have no clue how to use or what they are. And we have spiritual people saying they use these powers as well. You got that going on. All right. Now, what about, okay, that's one side, how we can abuse things. Now, the things that are affecting people that are crazy. When you get a gun, you have to prove you're not insane. How do you prove that? Do you believe in God? No. Do you believe in whatever? They ask you stupid questions and you have to look at dumb pictures and say they look like things and all that kind of stuff. I've been there, done it. It's crazy what they want you to be. You have to be programmed to the programs of the laws that they created for everybody. No, how right or just. If you take that deeper into religion, Jesus said himself, if the laws are unjust, you change them. Period. If they stay in place, you have to live by them. So obviously, you change the laws. You don't change burnt buildings and blow up cars. That's not changing the law. A certain amount of people go to the president and give him a letter. He has to read it and has to vote on it, have to decide. There's thousands of people that agree on one thing, but there's millions of people that agree on another. What about the billions of people that agree on things? There's 2.5 billion Christians on the planet, 2.1 or 2 billion Muslims on the planet. So guess what? They should have the right, but they don't. So let's break this down even further. You have children. What are you teaching these children? Racism? We're prejudiced? Oh, you can't use those words. Now, it's like when white people, what did the black people call the white people? What did the white people call the black people? You're allowed to call yourself that because that's what you are. If you call yourself something bad, does that make you better than what you're trying to get away from? The words were, even the native words, squaw, meant hooer. I mean, the words that they gave to the native women were horrible. And the names, you know what a Winnebago is? A native word. It means piece of you know what. So here's the thing. People take words and twist them and mold them into whatever they want them to mean, including the words in the Bible. So we can't have multiple religions with multiple gods and expect to get one reality that's going to work together. China has their own reality, and it's nothing to do with ours. Russia has their own reality. He wants global warming. He wants to be able to do farming 7 to 9 months out of the year. Do you blame him? I don't think that's a bad idea. But global warming, what's it doing to the planet? Trump says there is no such thing. When people don't know the reasons behind things happening, I call them ignorant, but they just don't know. And there's kind of a phrase, if you don't know what you do is wrong, you're not committing a crime. So if you weren't told murder was wrong, you can go ahead and do it, right? See, we justify different phrases and make them feel and put them in a place where we want to use them to justify whatever we do. Now, let's go into people that lead people. The Pope's lying to his people now. His own people are seeing it. That's not going to last too long. Prophecies, the last Pope, the last president. There's a book out. I'm not going to put the link up right now, but it's The Last President, and there was a book written before that by the same person, written in the 1890s, later 90s, about President Trump and his father. It gives names of people. It gives a whole bunch of information in there. Read them. You'll be blown away. I think Trump should read them. Somebody should hand them to Trump. Say, read this about yourself and your father. It even talks about Trump was supposed to go back in time and stop Tesla from creating the weapons, which he did. And he didn't do it. So yeah, his father lived underground. I mean, there's a whole bunch of crazy things, but this was written how many years ago about Trump, and it gives names of people around Trump right now. Check it out. There's things going on around us that we don't even watch, figure out, or care. When Mr. Bush was president, and they released a video of the skull and bones and the two Bushes inside ceremony, did anybody care? Do you have a clue when you see something like that what it means? All right, let's go. Like I told you, I'm bringing you around in circles here. Back to Mr. Trump. When Trump met Putin, he came out and said, we're going to start a space army. A week later, he says, I'm going to be president when we go to Mars. Do you know Trump says he wasn't friends with Putin, really? But I can't give them exact months, 3 to 6 months before President Trump was elected. President Mr. Putin in Russia on public TV said he wants Trump to tell the truth about 9/11 to the world. He wants Trump to tell what they're doing with alien races. Putin said himself publicly, we're dealing with 37 races. 2 of the races want to destroy the planet. Now, I can go into that a lot deeper because I know a lot of facts behind all of that. But you people don't care. People don't believe it. People don't want to accept it. So, how did Putin know that Trump would be able to say anything about any of them? And funny, he meets him. And he comes out and says, I'm creating a space army. Even though we have a space army. We had it in the late 50s. Now they can put more money into it. Do you know what $5 trillion to a cause is, which goes to that? What it could do for the United States alone? But no, they want to build ships and rockets and everything else to go to Venus, Mars, Jupiter, all these other places. But are they going to tell you anything about what's really going on? They sent the rocket up, 2 days ago? Oh, they're going to send 2 more people up to the space station, which is a group space station. When they were sending space shuttles up, you know what they told? They had corn seed to see if it grows, rice, and they had different things to see what would grow in space. You think they spent all that money to see if that would happen? So everything that's going on with the drones now, people you have to watch out for, which is going to destroy the world, the richest people on the planet, people that control space, people that control cars in the future. All right, what are they doing? What about 5G? What about 5G and the virus? All of it's happening at the same time. Do you think there's a coincidence behind that at any level? You have to look at the news. Oh, I don't watch news. It's all fake news. Well, in between all that fake news, there's real news. When somebody's calf coffin's being carried around, obviously he was shot, murdered, killed, or died. That's not fake news. Only 10 people showed up. Could have been 1,000 people there. What they did to the native people when we marched on against the pipeline, nobody knows. They said only a couple hundred people were there. Thousands of people were there. What were they doing? Sending vicious dogs, which they're doing now, on them. They were hosing them down in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night. They had helicopters fly over them, 10 feet above them, so they couldn't sleep. It was horrible, unjustified. So what's Trump do? Passes a bill recently that anybody that stops the pipeline gets 25 years in jail. He knows it's the native people that are trying to stop it. Wake up, people. There's a different battle going on. It's not just black and white. Black people want to believe it's that. Then the red people can't get involved because they just get killed. Check out Wounded Knee 2. Wounded Knee 1 was the disaster that everybody knows or should know. But here's the thing. We're not going to have much time on this planet if we allow all this stuff to screw up. Let's look at Russia, China, and these other countries looking at the United States right now. Look at this. Look at the riots. They're blowing up the police department. They're blowing up the cars. What are they thinking? The people that can see it. Not everybody gets to see that, but the people that do in power. Check it out. Think it's a good time to invade the United States? Of course it is. Look at all the way the security guards. Look where all the police are. Well, when the riots get to the White House, there'll be billions of people there. So obviously they won't attack the White House then. But when you attack something, when they're at the weakest point, And the United States is getting too close to being at the weakest point. With the virus, with the riots. What else has to happen? Do we need a major earthquake? Or super tornadoes come ripping through as well? People, please, I don't do shows because I like to just harass people. I only do it to try to wake people up. And I'm not even talking about the spiritual side of life, which is the most important part. Because we don't have time to go there right now. Well, I'm going to pray and everything's going to be okay. No, it's not. Sitting in your home, sitting on your chair, watching TV, turning it off and praying for a half hour, giving unconditional to the world. You think that's going to stop the riots? Giving everybody guns, is that going to stop the riots? What do you think is going to work? Think about it. There's right ways and wrong ways. If the ways that are wrong, change them. Change the government. Change Congress. We don't need 80, 70-year-old people that don't know anything about what's really happening on the planet to tell us what to do. The electoral votes are the richest people. We have to listen to them make the voting. Go back to the people in a state. A state has 10 people. That's all they should get, the value of 10 people. A state has 2 million. They should have the value of that. Not electoral votes, 14, 10, 12. And you have to have these electoral votes. Our system is screwed. Not by President Trump, not by Mr. Bush or Obama, by all of them and all the people that control them and who control them. Think about it. Somebody controls this planet. There's 5 richest families on this planet that control every single thing that happens. I'm not talking about the little things going on in your house and things, but the major events of money, stock markets, and things like that. When they were going to release the virus. When can they release the virus? When will they release the virus? The antidote for it. You are all stuck in this programmed idea, if you're religious, that God's protecting you. From what? Looters? Murderers? Rapists? Really? Car accidents? What's God? What is God protecting you from? Oh, I was saved. Yeah, but is your son sick? Did he have an accident? Did you lose your child? All these little things. Each one of them. If you're protected, you're protected. Soul within a spiritual person or an aware person, more likely, is protected. Not his physical body. I'm protected. Nobody can kill me. Really? Anybody can. But can they kill my soul? No, they can't. Can the government suck my soul out of my body? No, they can't. I'm protected that way. That's what God's protection's about. That's what Jesus was teaching for all the ignorant people that don't understand what he was teaching. And he was real. You don't want to believe it or not. The UFO people want to believe he was an alien. Aliens coming down telling people, supposedly telling them that he was an alien. He was not. All right. Where do we go from here? Are you ready to wake up, get involved, do something, do anything that will make a difference in a better way? Don't grab your gun and start shooting people, boycotting or rioting or whatever. Get people to stand in front of the president. Go to the White House. Write 10,000. If you write 10 million letters to the White House, guess what happens? Congress has to vote on it instantly. There's a certain number, 100,000, I think they have to send it to Congress. And then a certain amount, they have to vote on it. There's rules, but people don't know what they are. People don't understand there's ways to change things when they're wrong. Sure, Trump's going to fight for guns. You know why? His son goes out and shoots animals all around the world. Endangered animals. Which is the most sickest thing, I think, for a human with a so-called brain and consciousness to kill a white lion, and he was proud of it. The picture with the mother and daughter, the little daughter shot a lion, and they're proud of it. People are sick, people. Do you want to become part of the sickness or get out of it or stay away from it? Hiding from it's not going to stop it from affecting you. Because sooner or later, somewhere along the line, you got to go out. You got to do things. You got to buy food. You got to do these other things. And then you're in the middle of the garbage. The chemtrails they're spraying over you are toxic. Is that a black or white issue? No. There's many things going on, and they're not black and white. Colors aren't black or white. Black and white is only a shade of colors. So let's go to brown, yellow, red, white. White is a shade again. So we classify Caucasian. I mean, the words that were brownish, light brown, was more what white people are. Then the Irish were considered the white people because their skin was the whitest. But again, it's a color shading of the skin. And then there's different families of races where they came from. So we can be prejudiced. You think aliens are going to be friends with us when they come here? And they are coming here. Trump knows it. I don't know how much Trump really knows about it and what he's going to do about it. I mean, the Pope says they're going to pray and work and teach them Christianity. So we got a pathetic sickness growing in every part of the world, in every aspect of life. Religions, belief systems. Atheists believe things that are totally ridiculous. The flat earth idea and we didn't go to the moon idea, all these principles affect many people. The more you hear something said, the more you accept it. It's time to wake up, people. It really is. Care about something. Care about your children in the future. Do you want them all to be going to school with machine guns? And bulletproof vests and stuff, and that's all they're pushing now? You know, we could have weapon machines in every school, which they should have, but it's too much money. They should have a policeman standing over that machine as well. Too much money. But they're going to buy $1 trillion space program here and there for this rocket, that spaceship, what they're working on, their secret missions and all these other things. Look what people care about, and you'll see who those people are, where they really are. Name a spiritual person, not trying to make money. I don't call myself spiritual ever. I'm on a spiritual quest, period. I know probably more than 99% of everybody on this planet about death, gods, deities, and the real God, which they all exist. What about demons, angels, spirits, ghosts? They're all real. But how much of part of your life do you make them? Do you even care? Well, if my grandfather's around, I want him to watch over me. You don't become an angel. You are not an angel when you die. You don't become super spiritual because you die either. And a matter of fact, most people reincarnate back to this planet because they have no awareness of the truer worlds of God. And they don't want to. They want to believe they're God. So stay in hell. Dwell among this horrible mess that we're creating. And think that it's so important. What's important? World peace? What do you think the human race would do when the world became one peaceful, loving planet? Have sex with each other? All have 10 children with each other? What do you think they would do? It would only take 100 people to start a riot to change it and destroy it again. If you're a caring, loving, honest, spiritual being, you cannot kill. Period. That's the spiritual law. Whether you want to know that or not, all the people the president told them to go to another country to kill people, that's against the spiritual law. Smart people went up to Canada. They said, I'm not killing nobody. They were given freedom later on, which was the right thing to do. And they knew that. Otherwise, they would have never given them the right to come back. They would have been traitors and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's so many things going on together, and it's not just about one person dying. Do you care about how many white women get raped in a year's time? How many children get raped in a year's time? How many children get raped in an hour? Do you care? Well, it's black or white. No, it's not. Sure, the white people used to rape the black people in their homes and things like that as well. And the same as the cavalry went in and raped all the native people. It's horrible. Mankind has never become normal. We can go back to the beginning of history, and the only time in this multiple universe of planet Earth, in time of history, was the time of Atlantis. I was there. Whether you believe that or not, that's your choice. Atlantis was the only time 9 races were at peace, harmony, and aware of God. Alien races came down, changed their thinking, destroyed the races, killed most of them. The spiritual ones left. The blue race, the green race, purple race. I don't want to get into that because we've got more serious problems right now that are facing us today and tomorrow. So religion's not the place to go right now. Sure, when you come home and go to sleep, you can pray, whatever you feel you have to do. But during the day, you have to figure out what you can do to help cause or stop the problem, to change it, to make it better somehow. The family sure doesn't want people around the person that was killed to go out and kill everybody, burn up stores, and destroy cities. Do you know what it's going to do to the job industry? Do you have a clue? Oh, I'm going to listen to this speaker on. He's going to tell me I'm spiritual. I'm a six-dimensional being. And pay how much money to do that? People in the UFO world giving these classes on ascension. People don't even know what the word means, and they're going to give classes on it. Oh, an alien told me and showed me. What? Not one person came out with solid evidence, not government. They have all the solid evidence they need, but not people. People that were abducted, people that say their experiences, black, white, red, Chinese, Japanese, Indian, all saying their experiences now. Aliens came into the house and took them up into their ship and showed them a lot of things. Really? Not one person came back with a pencil, a shoe, a shirt, a finger, a ring of an alien. Why is that? Something serious is going on, and it's much more than what we perceive. Yes, they want the cities to be destroyed, to create one world order, which is 2011 conspiracy, whatever it is. It's the New World Order. It's the UN theory. Thesis. Well, I can't even think of the word. But basically, they decided in '98 that they're going to eliminate the planet's population and make it one world order. Who's going to be in charge of that? What rich millionaire, billionaire thinker thinking he can control the planet? Why do you think it's going to be accepted? Because there'll be nobody to fight it. Let's get rid of the warriors. The warriors are the ones who are on the front line. When a union was created, people were putting their lives on the line to create a union, which they did. But over time, they got people fixed on an 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock job or 5 o'clock job. They can't stop that, or they can't pay their rent or buy food, and they have to work. So they can't get involved with doing this boycott and fighting. People that gave up their lives to create a union did for a while. And when I worked for the phone company, little by little, the union slowly deteriorated. The president of the union bought himself a private jet with the money that he was making. It's a sad thing. Money changes everything. I mean, when Cyndi Lauper did that song, it was the #1 song. But it's true. No matter how spiritual, how religious, how honest you think you are, money changes your reality. Can you stay above it? No, you can't. Why? If you're a billionaire, you're staying in your ego. You can't be rich. You cannot be rich and think it's okay. If children around you are starving and dying, it's not okay. Jesus himself said many times, I mean, in the Bible, it's 3 times it's written, but many times he said it. It's based on he gave a parable of how it happened. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Think about it. What does that mean? It's a story. Read it in the Bible, what he was talking about and what happened with these people and everything else. But it's based on reality. And it was written how many? 2,000 years ago. It was written later than that, but Jesus was saying it 2,000 years ago. Why? King, pharaohs, people that had power, people that had money, control people. Money buys everything. What money doesn't buy, I don't want. That was a Beatles song. So here's the thing. Where are you going to draw your line in what you do, what you say, what you get involved with, what you're going to respond to? Sit back and just take what you get? Do you go out and kill everybody, blow up people's... Sure, these people robbing stores and jewelry stores have a lot of money now. They might pull back and say, well, I don't want to get shot, I don't want to go to jail, and blah, blah, blah. But these people walking around with shopping carts filled with stuff. Obviously, if a cop stopped them, would he put them in jail? What are they doing? Now, these people are saying people that do horrible things like that, they walk away. A person that does nothing gets shot, gets killed, gets strangled, beat to a pulp, and die. I'll tell you, it's not just black people. I was in Jersey City, driving in my car, saw two cops beating up a guy. It was a white guy, believe it or not. And I pull over. Leave that guy alone. You're beating him up. Just take him to jail. You want to go to jail? Come on, step out of your car. Please do. Give us a reason to shoot you. I mean, it was that way always. Police, black or white. When you put a gun on your hip and you're given the right to use it, you got a club, you're given the right to use it. You got a taser, you're given the right to use it. Now, how far do those rights go? In their mind, there's no limits. So this new bill going through is going to put limits on justification of a beating or abuse. Remember when they talked about water torture? They were using it to torture people to get them to talk. Waterboarding, it's called. But is it legal? Is it right? I said, well, how about you get a criminal and you inject him with truth serum? I found out there's 5 different kinds of truth serum, and they all don't work on everybody. So again, the person gets sick and dies because you injected them with truth serum. You got a lawsuit. I mean, everything that's the bad part's always outweighing the good part. We never get to the truth. Are psychics really psychic? Well, I can go into a system of criminals and what we should do with them. First off, you don't give people in jail equal rights to people out of jail. That's the first thing. You don't feed them the same way. You don't give them air conditioning. You don't, well, no, it smells like anything. Hose them down. Give them nothing. Do like other countries do. There's a 3-ring circus in one country. The outer ring is for the people that are getting ready to leave jail. The inner ring are the real hardcore prisoners, and the one in the center circle only eat what people throw into that circle. It's a hardcore prison. Should it be that bad? No. If you never saw the movie Escape from New York, watch it. Maybe we should do that. Let people do what they want, where, on an island, secluded, and let them do whatever they want to each other. If that's... Don't force other people to do things that you want to do. So, I'm going to say this. Our time's running out. We're going to be in a civil war real soon. Good people are going to get hurt. Bad people are going to be out there shooting and doing whatever they can. You're going to take a bribe? Somebody offered you $1,000 to go out and start a riot today or start a protest, would you? Somebody gave you $10,000, would you do it? What about if a person gave, here's $1 million, go out and start a riot, make sure you cause problems? You probably would do it. Drugs are being sold because people need money. If they had all the drugs they wanted, they wouldn't have to sell them. So there's a system that's being created, that's being allowed to be created, to cause the problems. It's a slow process. You'd think if they wanted to do it, they would do it right away. You want to kill a population, they're spraying chemtrails over us, slowly killing us. Just spray poison over them and get rid of as many people as you want to. It's not complicated. Well, we don't want people to see what we're doing. Well, this riots, people know there's people behind it causing the serious problems behind it. There's a lot of people that don't want to kill people. People have their share, a fair share of what went down. They don't want any more of it. Who are you for? Red, white, blue, green, purple, orange? You pick a color. No, it's black and white. No, it's not. It's about people losing morals. Religions, no morals, no understanding of morals. Creating their own boundaries and guidelines. There's spiritual laws that exist. When you start searching for spiritual awareness, or a greater awareness than what you have right now, you'll start seeing things beyond this realm. This is only the starting point for soul to grow. This is hell. You can't go worse than here. Oh, there's hell up there, or down there. There's hell. Dante's Inferno goes, well, in this place you get frozen. Your soul, when you die, you can't burn it. You can't twist it. You can't mutilate it. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to eat if you don't want. So it's a different reality. So when you die, your whole reality is going to change. But are you even aware of what you're going to do when you get there? What's going to happen? No. Why not? I want to have 10 wives. I want to have a super mansion. That's what you care about. I need to make more money. Everybody's telling you how to make more money. How about to live peaceful and happy, in harmony with people? All right, I went on for a while. I hope you got something out of it, and you're not going to sit back and say, well, this is all bull. Really? Say that to people in California. The city's looted. The stores are all closed. I don't know what's going on back there. Please, don't just listen to me. Listen to your heart, if you have one. See what it's telling you. What should you do? Pray. Pray. I mean, you're going to hear these people. There's a new conference coming out, which I'm writing tons of letters against. Oh, if we all pray together, we can change reality. No, you can't. Reality is individual. Each one of us has our own reality. And if you think you can change it to what you think is right, it would still never be right for everybody else. No rich person, no poor person has the right to think they can change everybody's reality. Jesus didn't come here to change reality. He came to teach about God's reality, which isn't here. He talked about his father's realm, his father's mansion, not here. It was never here. It wasn't the promised land, which all these Bible stories and all these things coming out. Well, now the prophecy is real. There's this land where we can be. When Moses brought the people to the promised land, they killed everybody that was there. Is that spiritual? Moses was one of the greatest killers in all of history. When he came off the mountain, he had 3,000 people killed. Oh, they're demons. If you what people marching around on the street would be called demons, and they all could be killed if Moses was here. Well, they stole, cut their hands off. Oh, they saw some, poked their eyes out. Whatever. I mean, read his laws. He had 613 laws, and no Hasidic Jewish person could live by 10 of them. All right, I gave you a speech. I gave you the truth. Whether you want to follow any of it, think about it, feel, how do you feel about it? That's your choice. Please send this link to everybody you know. Let them call me, say something to me if they don't believe anything I said. I'm a rebel. I stand for the truth only. I'll die. I will die by my own truth, not yours or anybody else's. But I know mine is a lot closer to God than anybody else that I can see on this planet. Talks about the truth. I talk about the truth. If you want to hear it, listen to my shows, Hawksblood 1, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I put it out there when my shows are out or coming on. I'm going to be doing as many as I can before I leave this planet. I'm not here to change the world. But if there's one soul ready to move on and needs to know how, I'm going to give them the information that they need. Not just tell yourself you're a high spiritual being. You're going to work from your higher self. You are yourself. Your soul. You're not anything other than that ever. Nobody else is ever better than that if they're in the body. Think about it. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Lots going on here, which I don't even want to touch on. There's so much to think about, so many things to get involved with, and so much to do, and so little time to do it. And don't get old, because time goes so much faster, and you realize you can't even do half of the things you want to do in a day. So with that, peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, whatever you want, I hope you get it. I hope it's what you want. Till next time.